I figured I would give a couple of examples of, because we had all this information of all this like Enneagram goodness, but like how do we actually apply that to story? What does it have to do with story? How does it change story kind of things? So I have a couple of examples of when I knew Enneagram types, how it affected my writing. So I figured I'd share that. And then if you guys have questions or anything, thoughts on the Enneagram, we would love to chat about it. If you want to talk about a specific character, I know Danny is flip-flopping with Grayson again, so I mean we could talk about that. But yeah, so I'm gonna just tell you a couple of brief little example stories. Um, so one of my characters, I wrote these Robin Hood books years and years ago. And then I was rewriting them a couple of years ago. And when I was rewriting them, that's when I applied the Enneagram to the characters and figured out what all their types were and everything. And I realized that one of my characters was an 8. And there's this moment, spoilers, I guess, in the story where this betrayal happens. And in the original way that I wrote the story, when the betrayal happens, the character, it's made Marion, when Marion like learns about the betrayal, she's hurt, but she's also very understanding. Like she's upset about it. This is painful. I can't believe this happened. But also, like I see why he did what he did. I can understand his motivation and like the things that were happening to him that brought him to this place and everything. And like she was just like very understanding. And then I was looking at it once I knew the Enneagrams, and I was like, I think in the original scene, I responded to the betrayal as a type 9 because that's what I am. But that's not how Marion would have responded as a type 8, because a betrayal, like she's an 8, she doesn't want to be violated, she doesn't want to be manipulated, that sort of thing. So betrayal would mean a whole lot more to her, and she would be much more upset about it. So I went back and I rewrote that scene so that she was not understanding, she was just hurt and she was angry, and then she was going to do something about it. Um, and that it changed the second, half of the book from there, because her interactions with that character and her like thoughts and feelings about that whole situation were completely different with the rewrite once I knew that she was an 8 and she probably wouldn't respond the way that the author, would respond to the situation that was happening. Yeah, so that was one example of like the Enneagram changing what I was doing. And the other one, same story with the Robin Hood stuff. I had this character, her name is Lucy, and when I originally wrote the story, she was absolutely perfect. Okay, she had no faults, she could do no wrong. She was my perfect little happy character. She was, I think when I was initially writing it, she was like the ideal person that I wanted to be. So it was like almost like an a self-insert, but not of me, but of like this idealized version of who I thought was the best me. I don't know. Anyway, but she had no flaws whatsoever. And then when I went through the Enneagram types for the rewrites of those stories, when I found her Enneagram, it changed everything for me, because then I was able to make her an actual human being, and give her fears and flaws and like mistakes to make and like all these things. So she wasn't this like cardboard perfect little poster walking around the story, but she was like an actual human being. And she had, struggles, and then also she was making mistakes. Anyway, so that's just a couple of quick, like I took the Enneagram information and then applied it to my actual characters, and then it altered the way that I was writing the scenes and things like that.